WIIFTBP.
Tamika Scott. Yeah. As we take this journey through life, we face trials and tribulations. But just know, the enemy is not gonna win, cause the storm is almost over. That's right, the storm is almost over.
You give up, you come too far to turn back now. Hold your head, it's almost over. So set up to take you to your destiny. It's gonna be alright. Everything happens for a reason.
Thin line between being a genius and insane. God, immortal. Yeah. Every minute I fight with authority, striving to be godly with an intelligence quotient that exceeds numerology. Scholar body honoring.
Tamika Scott. Yeah. As we take this journey through life, we face trials and tribulations. But just know, the enemy is not gonna win, cause the storm is almost over. That's right, the storm is almost over.
You give up, you come too far to turn back now. Hold your head, it's almost over. So set up to take you to your destiny. It's gonna be alright. Everything happens for a reason. Yes, this is your season. Just keep on believing. Blessings you'll be receiving. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It will be alright. Throw your hands to the sky, lift your head up high. The storm is almost over. Everything's gonna work in your favor. You don't have to worry no more. What you're going through won't last. It's a test to take you higher. Just keep the faith, hold on, believe. Storm is almost, keep moving. Don't let nobody stop you, no. You're getting closer. Almost over. You're a soldier. Now fight your way to victory. It's gonna be alright. Everything happens for a reason. Yes, this is your season. Just keep on believing. Blessings you'll be receiving. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It will be alright. Throw your hands to the sky, lift your head up high. The storm is almost over. Everything's gonna work in your favor. You don't have to worry no more. What you're going through won't last. It's a test to take you higher. Just keep the faith, hold on, believe. Dark clouds may rise.
good brothers, excellent black men that are out here, doing their best to serve their people.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we know we have brothers, shout out, there's a Tyrone Muhammad that's out there.
Yes, sir.
You've got a number of concerned, caring, active, and organized individuals and groups.
Yes, sir.
Who on a daily basis really help put together, from the media, from what's in it for the black people, down to the streets. I think, and I've said this in prior shows, that we are definitely in a different space.
Yes.
As it relates to consciousness and concern for our communities. And whether it be community relations, whether it be politics, whether it be economics, what's going on, and not just in Chicago, but statewide, as it concerns black people. So, yeah, I just want to take my hat off and salute what it is you do. So, but we're going to start usually in the first part of the show before we go into it. And everybody, please, take a moment, share the broadcast, send out a note. We're going to talk today about we're going to talk a little bit about self-protection. We're going to talk about what's happening in our streets. We're going to talk about the kids in our schools. But we're also going to talk about safe spaces and violence and self-protection. So I think that's all relevant. So we want you all to gather around the lunch table as we begin this conversation. But what's happening out there in the world? I want to give a shout out to yesterday was Election Tuesday across the United States in different places. I think there were a couple governors races, and definitely I am not the political guru, but I do celebrate a victory. Last year we did an interview with Eric Adams, who was running for the mayor of New York. Yes. And Eric is also a vegan, and that's why we had him on the show. And he won last night.
Is that due to you? Did he become a vegan due to you?
No, he didn't become a vegan
Okay.
due to me. He has a great story though, and we went over the story and talked about it on air, and it felt like an uncle. And we've had conversation behind the scenes, and just for someone that's being so busy, was involved in obviously a nationally hot race for mayor. He's the second black mayor of New York and the first vegan mayor of New York. So I'm celebrating the fact that he's black, he's vegan, he won, and he was just wasn't too big to come on the green side of things.
Yes,
and
sir.
I think that's important.
No, that's definitely important. And, it shows that the man, he gets 2 thumbs up for me, so on that. Because I'll say this, you were a major part of me changing and going in that direction as far as veganism.
Oh, okay.
So, that's helped change my life dramatically. So, yeah. So, shouts out to that brother. And, keep that diet going.
Yeah, real talk, man.
And treat the people right.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point, man. I'm developing my messaging, our company's messaging for 2022. So I'm developing disease is optional. Disease is optional. Disease is optional. So that's know that the top 10 or so diseases in America are called lifestyle diseases. Meaning,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so diabetes is a lifestyle disease. Heart disease is a lifestyle disease. Even cancer is listed as a lifestyle disease. And
really?
So, yeah, they're called lifestyle diseases. And if you study any further, go behind that, they're called diseases of affluence.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're called diseases of affluence. So we're developing the messaging that diabetes is optional, heart disease is optional, heart attacks and strokes are optional. Yeah, they're optional. And that's it's a kind of in your face, but with love kind of message, because we actually can be in the driver's seat.
Yes.
Right. We don't have to take a back seat to, here's the crazy part. The same industries that maintain the disease level in America are the same ones who talk about finding a cure.
Facts.
So there is no way. America is built on capitalism, and sick people and disease literally run the health, pharmaceutical, food. It's like a trifecta, right? And so we definitely want to do a part of, do our part by sending out messaging that you don't hear, which is disease is optional. What do you think about that?
Thing is, one is actual facts. You know, I'll use me as an example. It was for years. So I was a vegetarian since I was 14, but for years, I've decided that, you know, I don't want to give up the dairy, even though I had people like yourself or Kahari B and other beautiful brothers and sisters out here that live the plant-based or vegan lifestyle would tell me why I need to get rid of it. You know, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Well, you know, 'cause I have asthma. So it was like, hey, man, you know, your asthma would change if you change your diet.
Right.
And so I'm choosing not to do it. And because I chose not to up until recently, because of those choices, that lets me know that that was one of my options. And they gave me options. I just chose not to pick them. But the minute I did, and have been committed for the last, I'm over 90 days now, I'm happy that I made that choice.
How's your asthma?
Better. Very much so better. As a matter of fact, each week, every Friday, shout out to Michael Muhammad, we spar every Friday morning. We do 8 to 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds with a 30-second break. And I'm able to move and make it through those 8 to 12 rounds successfully, no problem. But prior to that, I probably would have made it to about maybe 5 to 6. So I am very pleased with the results.
And that's good. And now, well, prior to maybe a month ago, I wouldn't have been able to speak to what it takes to do a round or two or go through it. But
that's right, yeah.
It takes a little energy. That 3 minutes can be the longest 3 minutes in your life.
Someone told me yesterday, 3 minutes is, I guess there was a conversation of two celebrities. I'm not familiar who these brothers are, but I guess they were talking about getting in the ring with each other. And a friend of mine called me and said, hey, man, he said, I padded with you before. He said, man, 3 minutes is an eternity.
Man.
He said, it feels like a lifetime, man. He said, I don't think people really recognize and realize what it's like.
Yeah.
It's an eternity.
It's an eternity. And so, but back to your comment, I'm really appreciating the fact that you were able to take the advice
yes.
and just see what it's like. And that's what I try to tell people. Try 30 days with me, with us, and just see what it's like.
I'm never going back.
Wow.
I can clearly, I've said it, I've stated that publicly. I'm never going back.
Okay.
The only thing that's hard is seeing someone eating the, Giordano's deep dish pizza, whatever. However, Medici, and what you put me up on, has a great vegan option. So, but yeah, besides that, I haven't had any problems. It was easier than what I thought. Once I made up my mind, it was it.
I got it. Yeah. And so does Geno's. You got to have that one too. So there are options out there if you're feeling vegan comfort food. Gardis, Kenneth, Boosie, see you in here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share the broadcast.
We're gonna
we got a great conversation today. You all can see that I'm in with one of the top echelon of melanated black brethren in Chicago and across the globe. My main man, Mr. Marquin McDonald. Yeah, he is a spectacular brother. And we're in here today. I'm missing my feminine energy, but I got super feminine energy in the booth with me today. You wanna say hello? Turn your mic on. You don't want to say hello? You don't want to say hi? I'm used to interacting with the producer, but that's okay. Tell us your name and huh? She's okay, all right. All right, no worries. All right, it's all good. Behind the booth, but just shout out. So we do have, I just wanted to say, it's not just masculine energy in here. We do have feminine energy in here with us today, but we definitely are down Cassiopeia Uhuru. Share with us. I'm just trying to hear.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well. I'm blessed.
Good. And what's your name?
My name is Shanice.
Shanice is our producer. She is on the ones and twos today. She is a beautiful, radiant, young black sister, and she's in here with Marquin and I today. So you all, in the comments, let us know that you're in here. Absolutely. You got some shout-outs. They're already saying, come on, let us hear you, beautiful sister. That's from Boosie. But let us know you're in here in the room today. Drop a comment if you got some questions. Once we get to the first break, we're going to dive into this safe space conversation. But again, I want to just give a shout out to my man Eric Adams, who won as mayor of New York, and he graced us with his presence here. I want to shout out Cassie and the Black Mall. They're having their Black is Gold celebration that's coming up Thanksgiving weekend.
That's right,
Yeah, you all. So you can hit them at theblackmall.com and find out everything about Black is Gold. They've got notices they're running on Instagram and Facebook, so you can check them out. You can Google the Black Mall, you can find out, but that's Cassiopeia and Dre. They are co-founders of the Black Mall. So just want to give them a shout out this morning. Yeah. So how's the family, Marquin? What's going on? Everybody good?
Family is good. My children are driving me crazy.
Okay, well,
but that's what they're
that's
supposed
normal.
to
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
do.
absolutely.
My son is has caught up to his older sister, and as far as in height, and he's bigger than her. He's growing into be a giant.
Okay, is he enjoying that?
Man, he's thinking he's running the household or something.
Okay.
But,
Well,
know.
I mean, he comes from giants. Though.
Hey, man.
Well, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he grow up and be a giant?
He gonna be a giant though, man, because his mother's tall. So
Yeah,
his mother's,
exactly.
Almost 6 feet. So he's gonna be pretty tall, and he has that personality. All my children do. I'm proud of them. My daughter, who's here with me, my oldest daughter.
Okay.
And she's doing incredible works at the school she's at. Which is I think she just started Art in Motion, which is I think being promoted by Common.
Yeah, that's Common's joint that he's yeah.
So
How's she liking it?
She says she really loves it.
Okay.
And it suits her. The personality of the school suits her. She is the definition of an artist. My daughter Saida, she is definitely the definition of an artist.
So
Everything
does she
about
paint? Does she draw?
She
does
paints,
she write?
she draws,
Okay.
she dances, she does poetry.
Oh, okay.
This little girl is incredible. She's definitely got it within the genes because my father was that, her grandmother, her mother, so her whole, everything about her is art. And so I'm proud of her. I know she's gonna shock the world in so many different ways. It's incredible seeing her development.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, young artist. And what about your son? What's he into?
He's into cars.
Okay.
And he's into fighting.
Okay, cars and fighting.
Cars and fighting.
Cars and fighting.
And what's funny is he gets
the
that
art
natural.
of fighting.
The art of fighting.
He's not into just fighting, like going out and
he
punching somebody
he
in
only
the face.
2, so
Right.
he just he just running up on me and throwing blows.
Oh,
so
okay,
trying
yeah.
to do kicks and punches, and he's definitely into his cars.
Okay.
And Mickey Mouse.
And Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, cars and fighting. Okay.
That's what he into right now.
The art of it. Okay.
And so I'm gonna get him into as soon as he is 3. I'm gonna start him off with some actual like for real classes. I'm putting him in the dojo.
Okay.
Have him work with one of the other instructors and see where he goes. My other daughters, my 3-year-old hasn't started yet, but my 6-year-old and my 12-year-old, they're both doing martial arts now.
Okay.
And my 12-year-old, she also does firearms training as well. So when they get older, we just up the ante a little bit more.
Okay. All right. So progresses as their level of responsibility, ability to mentally handle, what's in front of them.
So the minute she hit 10 years old is when I started taking her to the range.
Okay.
So she can start getting used to the sounds and everything, understanding what that was. And then, having that, now she's, working with bigger platforms. And so then she's able to complement that with her martial arts training.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Okay.
she has both. She understands how to be, the gardener as well as being a warrior.
And you literally, from my position, you literally have to be both.
Literally. That's right.
You literally have to be both. I was sharing with a few people earlier this week that one of the most people are talking about what are the scenarios, right? Survival scenarios,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people talk from the arms end of it, armed in order to survive, or know how to work your way through forest or different territories.
Yeah.
But very, very few people talk about the ability to create or grow food.
Which is crucial.
It's crucial. And one of the biggest things, if you're into the survivalist thought, one of the best things you can have is a seed bank.
Yeah.
If you don't have a seed bank,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble.
Especially if we ever get into a point where things are falling apart.
Yeah.
And we go into any type of apocalyptic state where, we can't get the proper food, we can't get any foods or the resources we need, you need to have that saved and stored so you can, save your own life
And
and your family.
That's important because when you get into the definition of food,
Yes.
if you go into a grocery store, the produce section or the front of the store is actually the only place where there is food according to the definition of food.
Absolutely.
Everything else is a food-like substance,
Yes.
right? And so there's a huge grocery store,
Yep.
right? But
The smallest part of it.
90%, 90% or more is not food.
Yes, all artificial.
It's all artificial. It's a food-like substance, and so the vegetation, the fruit, the vegetables, the things that contain seeds.
Absolutely.
So even all of the fruits and vegetables technically aren't food.
Yeah, because all
So
of
if
them contain the seeds.
Right. So if you're eating a seedless watermelon, if you're eating seedless grapes, those are not food. They are laboratory created. They're food-like, but they aren't food. Right. Because food has to have a seed in it because it has to be able to reproduce. So if you buy seedless grapes or you buy seedless watermelon and you literally can't produce any more food, right? Because it has what the major companies have put in certain fruits and vegetables called terminator seeds, and the seeds actually, they won't germinate. They won't produce offspring.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the situation we're living in today. So, and you can actually start a food bank. A seed bank by just going to buy fruits and vegetables and drying out the seeds.
There it is.
Yeah. So, and make sure you get organic. Give that a try because food, when you talk about food, clothing, and shelter,
Yes.
but people literally have no idea what food is, which from my space, right, is an issue.
No, it's a major issue.
Yeah, it's a major issue.
My grandmother told me it was interesting. Not even that. People can't even prepare. Don't even know how to actually cook anything. She told me around the time when I was born, Chicago had a huge blizzard.
Wow.
And we were living in the South Shore at the time. And people couldn't get to the grocery stores because the snow and everything was so high. And she was the only person on the block that knew how to bake bread, just bread.
Wow.
And so she would give loaves of bread to her children to go, hey, take this bread to this person here, or take this bread to that house, and then she was feeding the block. And she was like, it was just sad to her that not one of those people that lived there knew how to even bake bread.
Wow.
Just bread.
Wow.
Well, we live on anything else.
We live in the convenience age, right?
Right.
So you don't really know how to make anything. You don't know how to make clothes. You don't know how to grow or make food,
Yes.
right? Bake bread, make the things that you like.
Yes.
They did there's this article where they were talking to urban school children, right? Okay. Mostly black children, right? Maybe some Latino children. And they literally thought that vegetables came from a store and not from a farm. Have you heard that?
Unfortunately, I have.
Yeah. It was quite sad. So we're living in an age where, it's just a misunderstanding, right? A lack of education, because there's so many, especially when you get to black people, there's so many things: racism, oppression, trying to work, put quote unquote food on the table, pay the rent, manage a relationship, take care of your elderly parents, deal with the job. Like, all of these things really push us in a direction where being concerned about what food really is like if it's on the list is very low, but usually not on the priority list at all.
Absolutely.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, what's funny is when they were doing when 2020, when I would go to the grocery stores and they thought that it was the end of the world and people were taking all the toilet paper.
Right.
When we would go to the grocery stores, a lot of people weren't in the produce aisle.
No, they were taking the food like items,
Cheerios,
right?
And they weren't in the produce aisle, so it was very interesting. But thankfully, my wife would get vegetables and fruit And she was like, look, we'll just freeze these. And so she would, chop them up, or she would freeze them, or she would put things in certain things. She was like, we need this food. And she really made a focus on us eating, changing our diet. She was like, we need to boost our immune system.
Oh,
She
that's
was
what's
really
up.
just
Shout out
focused
to
on
mom and the wife.
that.
Yeah,
the
that's
wife,
what's
man,
up.
The wife really, she makes sure I got the fuel in me.
Yeah, because as people talk
Proper
about it
fuel.
today, they had a news story on last week. They were talking about, the possibility of shutdown, people not being able to get food, and just because of what has happened in the COVID supply chain.
Yes.
And I had 0 degree of worry because I have my own seed bank,
Yes, indeed.
grow my own food. And definitely not everything that I eat. I don't eat everything that I grow, but there's a certain level of confidence in the fact that if something were to happen,
I have nothing to worry about.
that I really don't, and that I can feed myself. Now, I might be eating the same thing over and over, and I'm not even worried about somebody coming to take it, because the value on seeds and vegetables is so low in our community that nobody's like, oh my God, he's got a whole thing of tomatoes back there. They're not even paying attention to
Ain't
it.
that something?
And so, but if the Flamin' Hots are missing off the shelf, people
People
go
go
into a
crazy.
panic,
People gonna go crazy.
right? So the Flamin' Hots versus the tomato. So I'm gonna keep growing the
Flamin'
tomatoes.
Hots outweigh in value the tomato. Ain't that something?
Right. It's
Like,
crazy.
seriously.
But then it's a whole nother, and it's a whole nother piece, even when you talk about what's in the Flaming Hots that you've been eating since you were 5 or 6 years old, and then get to be 40 and be like, cancer, where did that come from?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
You get what I'm saying?
That's right. No, that's right.
Seedless watermelons, seedless grapes. Like we don't even know what the long-term residual effects of eating a diet that consists of non-food items. But then we look again. We were talking about the lifestyle diseases. That's why those diseases are classified as lifestyle diseases, and you can't find a cure to something that you are eating.
Yeah.
Unless you stop eating it. All right, y'all. We're going to move toward the break. We're going to move into this community violence safe space conversation. We have Brother Marquin McDonald with us today. Stay tuned. We need you to like, share, and comment on the broadcast. Let us know you're here. Invite some more people around the lunch table. You're on the green side of things with Sadeek and Cassiopeia. We'll see you after the break.
School of prophet alum, anthropomorphized lessons, so I could become the heartbeat of righteousness. The everyday fight to pump the blood of kings and breathe the breath of life. Moving up like Confederates and Yankee territories in the 17th century. But it's a thin line between divinity and iniquity. The Mason Dixon hidden in complacent decisions. Can't escape the collision. Time be idle like Billy. Party like a rock star. Fall like that girl that used to endorse Trim Spa or Nirvana's lead vocalist and clientele of the dream merchant like Mr. Chappelle. People think I'm sick in the mind and leave the comforts of Babylon behind and book flights on airlines to Africa. Traveling the globe, accomplishing goals like Ronaldinho. The victim of a level 12 quake. I rise through the wreckage, repairing brain damage and striving for perfection. Your mind can be your worst antagonist or a true pal, and you shall become legendary and futile. Decisions of a god in training on a daily basis. I nap purposely, trying to escape it. The thin line between the mastermind and the man of the master. Which one are you after? The thin line between being a legend and being the captor. Which one are you after? The thin line between a mastermind and the man of the master. Which one are you after? The thin line between being a god and being the captive. Which one are you after? Free or rot in the industry. Babylon, the great machine runs off solar energy. Souls power the engine. We empower our enemies.
My observation is always that basically, in terms of the American economy, the recording industry replaced the cotton industry on exactly the same labor relationship. Recording artists are mostly treated like sharecroppers.
If you don't like it tough, it's fair enough.
This episode is based on 1990 big tobacco marketing ideas.
And we talked about targeting young adults and women. What about a cigarette targeting inner city blacks? Any ideas? Perhaps we could utilize the popularity of rap music. Rap music, yeah.
Blacks have less money. Let's offer a 10-pack. We should call them fat boys.
Yes, yeah.
How about this?
You know you're cool. You know you're the man when you've got a fat boy in your hand.
Fair Enough is a Truth production.
We wake up every day to these tests as we strive to be great, and they keep coming, but we gotta persevere, y'all. Yeah, thin line, mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you after? Thin line, mind of a god, mind of a captive. Which one of you after? Thin line, mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you after? Thin line, mind of a god, mind of a captive. Every minute I fight with lethargy, striving to be godly, with an intelligence quotient exceeding numerology. Scholar body honorary, school of prophet alum, anthropomorphized lessons so I could become the heartbeat of righteousness, an everyday fight to pump the blood of kings, breathe the breath of life, moving up like Confederates in Yankee territories in the 17th century. But it's a thin line between divinity and iniquity. Mason Dixon hitting and complacent decisions, division between symptoms of a phenom and a psychopath, gifted and asinine. I want to erase that vertical line on an incline that divides them. Climbing out this box in my mind, it's like having altitude sickness on alpine expedition. Genius vision never fixed in on the depth below. Focus on elevation where others never dare to go. And brainiacs ain't contained in that receptacle. Incredible creative energy becomes perceptible. The cerebral can be an evil alter ego, a true vow, and you shall become legendary and futile. Development over God.
Welcome back to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek. I'm sitting in minus Cassiopeia, but she appears to be out in the comments, so we want to say what's up to you. And no, I will not say that thing, but we do need you to like, we need you to comment, we need you to share this conversation and invite some more people around the lunch table. I am sitting here with my main man. It is Mr. Marquin McDonald. Now, I want to get into this conversation, but I want to give him his props. Marquin is a business owner. He owns Quantum Martial Arts and Fitness. So he is a martial arts, mixed martial arts and boxing instructor. Yeah. And he is also the co-founder of Watch Guard Chicago. Yes, we'll get into that. And he is also the co-organizer of the Community Safe Passage Initiative.
Yes.
So he is definitely involved in an integral way into what happens on the streets of Chicago on a daily basis. So you've been sitting in with me from the beginning, but I want to officially say welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Mr. McDonald. How you feel, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. It wasn't until actually last week that I didn't realize when someone puts it in front of you, the work that you've done, that you're doing, you don't realize, like, wow, I've done quite a bit, and I'm pleased, and I hope that I can get better. Hope I give better service, and I plan on doing this for a very long time.
Oh, I appreciate that. I have I've got some advice for you, but I'll save it for the end of the show.
Yes, sir.
I'll save it for the end of the show. So, Marquin, there's so much we could start with. There's so many areas, and they're all interconnected.
Okay.
They all overlap. But let's talk about this violence in the community. Okay. You were personally involved in working through these carjacking issues.
Yes.
You were personally involved in safeguarding from what people call looting or outrageous behavior in the community, looking after sisters and brothers, moving back and forth in hot spots, hot areas. You teach self-defense, martial arts, right? Like I said, this all overlaps.
Yes.
You work in the schools. You work with students, right? And parents.
Yes.
And school administrators. And you also work with the police.
Yes.
So let's start with this community piece, right?
And I'm gonna say somewhat on that last one.
Which one is
The
somewhat?
police.
Well, when I say work with them, conversations, I don't mean you like
No. But some people out there get it confused.
Yeah, that's because we won't take time to slow down and listen. You know,
Right.
that's that overexcited Negro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wants to point a
Yeah.
finger. He working with the police. We know that's not the case,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no doubt. So violence in the community
Yes.
is a subject that we talk about because it's very prevalent, right? And it's very prevalent in our neighborhoods, right?
Yes, indeed.
So there are people who attack this, and what I mean by that is, you know, there's information out there on how many shootings were in Chicago over the weekend, every week. You know, just the information comes out, but on the ground, in with the younger brothers, the younger sisters, and with what's happening on the streets and the schools, what do you see? Where are we with this violence in Chicago?
So I'll say this. We are in the same space we were in 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, and so on and so forth. We rely on the wrong people to bring about change for us.
Okay, let's okay, yeah. So let's unpack that.
So what I mean by that is that we tend to forget. We use the term community
Okay.
too loosely, in my opinion.
Okay.
We use that term. We also use the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, or so on and so forth.
Well, you know, that's not the actual meaning of that saying. I just want to put that out there.
Got you.
Because the saying is not it takes a village to raise a child. The saying is it takes a whole village. And it doesn't mean whole in terms of everybody. It means whole in terms of healthy.
Yes. No.
So it's really say it takes a healthy village to raise a child. Okay.
So still though, people still use the term it takes a village, right?
Right.
But there is no real village. And there is no community. We live on blocks where we don't even know our neighbors. So we can't be surprised when something comes onto our neighborhood or our block and festers and develops, and we look at it and we're like, man, this is bad for the neighborhood or bad for the block, and this isn't going to work. And then what we do is we call on outside sources or forces to come in and try to fix the problem, when we have always had that ability within inside ourselves.
Okay, what are the outside forces? I want to take it.
We'll sit there, 1 minute we'll say F12, but at the same time you want to call 12. You want to call the police.
I was going to say, clarify that 12 is the police.
You want to call, 1 minute you forget the police, next minute you want to call the police. We've gone out, when we developed Watch Guard, we were like, okay, we are our own solution. We have to go out here and patrol our own blocks. As black men, it's our responsibility. We're supposed to be the gatekeepers in the front and on the front line. So we're going to go out, we're going to approach, we're going to talk, we're going to de-escalate, we're going to do whatever we need to do to prevent, as best as we can, violence or any of this type of energy from happening or impacting or affecting anybody in our community or our neighborhood, right?
Okay.
The fact is that I've been on blocks where I'll try to talk to my neighbors and say, hey, we need to go and let's go talk to these brothers. And I've had people tell me, nah, I'm good. Like, no. And I'm talking about men that'll tell me, nah, I'm good.
No, I'm good in terms of don't go talk to them.
They don't want to talk to them because they're not going to listen. They ain't nothing. What they do is they totally throw them away.
Okay.
Not understanding, like, dude, you came from out of the hood yourself. You should understand their circumstances. You should be able to relate to them and understand where the mindset is. You was once their age. As a matter of fact, I know you acted just like them at one point. So what we do is we get to a certain point, or we feel we get to a certain status, and then what we want to do is we want to throw away those which we don't, that we look down upon, instead of actually reaching out and being like, hey, you know what? I was once you, shorty. Let me holler at you real quick. and then actually trying to connect with him and help him with whatever he needs, giving him the resources that he needs, building a bridge with him. So now you have some type of impact. He out here hurting too.
Got it.
The matter of fact, the reason why he with that clique or that crew or that gang that he with is because he don't really have a village. That's his village though. So what we've done is the block, for example, my mother's block. My mother's block, they communicate with each other. And I have actually seen the progress of the work that they've done because each neighbor knows each other. Literally. They tell them, they got a little network where they text each other, they group text each other, and they hey guys, I'm going out of town this weekend. Can y'all watch my house? They have their little phone conferences calls, and they have a whole network. And they've had people come in, neighbors move, people move in, and then they turn the house into something that was undesirable. Like, man, they selling dope out the house. And then you got all your neighbors that's now all of one mind focused on removing that element from their community. And they've had success after success after success because it was a connection. We gotta start realizing that we the problem too. Yes, can the mayor be doing better? Sure. Could the police department they got to do better and do their issues? Sure. Does the county need to be doing better? The governor and all these political figures, the aldermen? Sure. But we also have a responsibility to ourselves.
So are those the outside forces?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. So we talk about police, and then so another outside force is government.
Yeah, government.
And then
all that which we say we don't trust. Think about
that's
everything
what you
that
mean.
We say we don't trust. So we look for we throw our trust in them to try to fix our problems.
So that's the cognitive dissonance, right? That's the cognitive dissonance. F the police, but now I'm gonna call the police.
Yes.
The government ain't worth nothing, but I want the mayor to do something.
Yeah, man, listen, it's amazing. Listen, I've literally been in meetings where they'd be like, man, we don't need to work with the police, man. We ain't messing with the police. We done with the police. Okay. All right, well, look, man, what we going to do is we going to form XYZ group. We going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We going to put ABC together. And then this is how we going to go ahead and, patrol our communities and do X, Y, Z. And then believe it or not, majority of the people that was in there screaming F the police was the ones that's like, hey, yeah, man, what happened was I was busy and my schedule got kind of booked. And so I'll just contact, I'll give you a call next week, bro, and then I'll let you know where I'm at.
Okay.
So that sister that's getting abused and that's dealing with that domestic violence situation, she's looking like, who do I call? Or these kids, these babies out here that's suffering. I've worked with babies that literally, when they come to school, like we talked about the Flaming Hots, their breakfast was Flaming Hots and Annihilators. And when they come in, they hyped up off of the sugar and the chemicals inside the Flaming Hots and cheese that they ate.
Right.
And they listened to whatever music they listened to. And then you trying to figure out how come they won't sit down and focus in school.
Right, because it's like a cocktail, right?
Yes.
The food, right? It's like this whole the environment,
their environment,
the music
everything is impacted.
The whole 9 yards, and then you want them to sit down and do algebra.
Yes. So we got to have some empathy for our babies. Yes. Are they out here bad? Yes. Not all of them, but we do have a group of them that are out here, that's out here doing anything, but they suffering just like they suffering.
Right.
They need love too, man. We got to find ways to actually heal. And I mean intentionally. We looking towards too many individuals out here that in my personal opinion, what the violence prevention has now become the new business. So what happens is that, I'm just going to go ahead and create me a, 501c3 and XYZ, and then I'm going to go out here and, we're going to bring and we look to the wrong people that don't have a track record of actual progress, and we look towards them.
The on-the-ground people.
And the on-the-ground people, right. We look for these people that don't have no track record of actual progress or actually helping our people, and we look towards them to, oh, yeah, they're going to bring the solutions. We look towards them, and the truth is that they're not the ones that's going to bring the solutions. We have to look towards ourselves. We have to hold ourselves accountable. It starts with the self, and then it goes into your home, starts with your family, and then it permeates out from there. We have to look within ourselves. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? Now, not everybody's going to go out here and patrol. That may not be your role. But what are you willing to do? What role are you going to play in the liberation and the success of not only yourself and your family, but your people, because we're all connected. We are all we got.
Right. So let me ask you this, because it sounds simple. But what does that, from your experience,
Okay.
right? Because I have a question.
It sounds simple, and believe it or not, it is. It's more simple than what you think.
Okay, so here's the question: is the situation too much to contain? And then what you're talking about, the simplicity of it, what does it actually look like? And the reason I ask that question is because you aren't the first person to say this.
Absolutely not.
It's been written about.
Absolutely.
There are not only books, you know what I mean? There are papers.
Yes, indeed.
We've been talking about these things like
We've
you
been
brought
screaming
up for
about it.
decades.
Yep.
It's been said it's been shouted from the mountains.
Absolutely.
It's been yelled from the streets.
Yep.
But like you said, you started out saying it's the same as it was the decade before, the decade before, the decade before, the decade before. Now, the textbook definition of insanity
I already knew where you was going.
is to continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect
A different result.
result.
Then we must be insane.
Okay,
Because we've
that's
been
where I
doing
wanna
the
go.
same thing over and over and over again. Every 4 years, we do the same thing over and over and over again. We vote the same people in office over and over and over again. And we've been having the same cry over and over and over again. Jobs, education, resources. Jobs, education, resources, mental health. Job, education, resources, mental health. Every year.
How do we
scream
break?
that.
How do we break the cycle? Because you have some. I guess my question, and I've got a lot of questions, and we're not going to solve anything right now in this moment today. But I think that we have to be willing to dissect it and be honest and transparent about it.
Yes.
Right. So, because there are people who will say we're making progress, and then there are some that say we're headed backwards, and then there are some that say we're just merely repeating the same cycle.
Yes.
What do we need to do to move out of the insane category? What needs to happen?
There's a few things, in my opinion. And forgive me, I have allergies, guys.
That's okay.
So forgive me.
I got some plants that can help you with that.
Hey, man, I need it.
Real talk.
I'm so serious.
I got you.
This is going to be first of all, we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Okay, well let's get on. Let's talk about it. Let's get uncomfortable.
We have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. The same way, a lot of people want to go out here and change their body, and they want to get fit.
Right.
You come and work out with me every week.
Right.
Because you're like, hey man, I want to do X, Y, and Z. These are my goals.
Right.
And what you do is you'll come in for an hour and be uncomfortable.
Super uncomfortable.
For an hour.
Right.
Every week that's going to total up to I don't know how many hours for a particular result. We are too comfortable. And we'll say that we're not. We'll complain, but we are. Like you said, you can't give somebody to put down flaming hots for 5 minutes.
Man.
Without yet ask somebody to pick up a pen or pick up a post or so we have to get used to being uncomfortable. We have to honestly, like they say, the revolution will not be televised because the revolution is in the mind. It has to be mental first. You have to take accountability, look at yourself, and be honest with yourself. See, that's the beginning. That was the beginning for me.
Okay.
I literally have to. Just recently, we had a situation that I'm not going to go into, but I would be a lie to say that I was not concerned during this situation where I had to defend myself and those that I loved around me. And we was dealing with a serious threat. And afterwards, during processing of that, I had to be honest with myself and say, man, I was scared. I was worried. You try to be like, man, no, because we had success. No, I had to be honest with myself years ago and being like, I can be a better father, man. See, everybody want to be an angel, but nobody want to be a demon. Nobody want to acknowledge the demon in them, but they want to acknowledge the angel in them.
Right.
Nobody want to acknowledge the demon that, I could be a better father. I could be a better father. I could be a better husband. I could be a better person. Oh my God, I'm terrible at business, thinking I'm good at it. Oh my God. Literally facing your demons. Face them. And the minute I started facing them and and taking myself accountable and being like, okay, this is what I'm addicted to. I know, I'm addicted to sugar. Didn't want to acknowledge that because my wife was like, you're addicted to sugar. And I'm like, I'm not addicted to sugar. That sounds like a drug addict. I'm not addicted to nothing. I can kick this anytime I want to. Having to realize, and honestly, being honest, like I told you, it starts with the individual first.
So
and
what?
The minute I did that was the minute things started to shift and change.
So what's our demon in the streets?
Fear.
What are we not willing to look at?
We have fear.
Okay.
We are afraid
of
dying, pain, getting hurt, getting someone else.
Isn't that natural though? To be
It
afraid
is.
of dying?
It is.
Okay.
But it's also, so listen, I'm not saying that you don't have the right to be afraid.
Because
I'm
you were
afraid.
acknowledging your own fear.
I acknowledge my own fear.
Right.
But it's also, we have emotions and we have logic. I know if I do not get involved in some shape, form, or fashion in any capacity whatsoever, then I have no business complaining on when the storm hits my front door.
Okay, that's real talk.
I have no business complaining when the storm hits my front door because the storm been outside the whole time and I could have went ahead and just faced it, got in the rain and was like, what's up? I'm going to get wet. What's going on? I don't have to address that storm in the most aggressive way. I don't have to address those out there. I can come when we're outside and we're patrolling or we are working in these schools. I got young men that I know for a fact they are shooters, and they love me to death. Mr. Q, hey Mr. Q, and I've helped change their lives around.
I was going to say, what does it take to get them not to be shooters?
That connection.
Okay,
they have no connection. They don't know what real love is.
Okay.
They sort of shun away from it at first, like, hey, man, dude, what's up with dude? And then all of a
Being
sudden,
hard.
it's like being hard. They
Right.
have a misunderstanding of what masculinity is.
Toxic masculinity.
They have a serious misunderstanding of that, a misunderstanding of feminine energy.
Okay.
They have a misunderstanding of everything. They have honestly not been educated. They are ignorant. They're really calling out. They are in pain, and they're afraid, too. Have you ever seen these shorties walking down the street with the ski mask? They're walking down the street because if you talk to them, you'll find out the ski mask is a shield, it's a cloak. I ain't got to worry about getting seen. They ain't all trying to jack you or rob you. Some of them are walking to the store with their ski mask on because they're afraid they ops gonna see them and they gonna go ahead and get that work.
Right. They're
so
hiding.
what they're doing is they're hiding and they're able to do. A good friend of mine was doing a meditation with these kids. The one kid was like, man, I ain't finna do this. I don't want to do this, man. I don't know. And then he talked to him. He saw some of the other guys doing it. That was his peers. And he just still felt uncomfortable. And then what he did was he put his ski mask on. And when he put his ski mask on, then he closed his eyes and then got into the position or whatever because he felt like he was in a safe space at that point.
Got you.
We don't want to connect with them and understand them. What we want to do is automatically diagnose them to be, man, they crazy. And then, man, we got to throw them all over, lock them all up, throw them away, put them in jail. They need to be doing something with their life. That's not what healers do. Healers want to find what caused the disease.
But is that person
and attack that?
And so I'm with you,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. But is that person that says throw them away, lock them up, I don't want to
just as
deal with
bad.
them? No. But you said that's not what healers do, and so and this is obvious. But I'm asking the question: are they qualified to be a healer? Like I'm saying. Because to me,
I hear you. I got you.
You hear what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I hear what you're saying.
That's not. But they're not healers.
So
because in my
is that
estimation,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
both of them need healers.
Yes.
The throw them away,
But
and
they
the
would
one
say
that's
that
being
they
thrown
are.
away.
But they would say that they are. They would say that that's a part of the solution, knowing that that's not. So my point is that we're sick. Let's go back to what we were talking about.
Right.
We are all suffering, and we're all suffering from a form of sickness.
Right. Okay. So it's a community cancer.
It's a community cancer. Exactly.
Okay.
And so we
A
actually
social
need
cancer.
we need to examine what's causing the cancer. And then, like I said, by being honest with yourself, you can now go and get the therapy that you need and heal yourself so you can go out and start helping others. Only way you can help others is being honest with yourself. You cannot sit there and tell somebody and judge somebody and say, hey, man, you a crook. Knowing damn well you still use yourself. Oh, man, you a liar. I had someone say that last night. I was listening to a conversation. They was like, these little kids, all they do is lie. That's all they do is lie, lie, lie. And I was like, excuse me, no disrespect, but have you ever lied in your life? Well, yeah. I was like, did you ever tell that person that you lied to them, or do they still believe that story you told them? And they got quiet. I said, so you a liar too?
To this very day.
So you a liar to this very day?
To this very day.
So you a liar. But look what you did to them because you think you better because you older.
That's why. And
that's not cool. So, we gotta honestly, we gotta real talk. And forgive me, y'all out there, if I'm too amped up right now.
No. Come on, the energy is great.
So we got to go into that healing mode.
Okay.
We all need that. We all need to heal.
And that's what I wanted to bring out. All of us.
And I'm talking about it's all connected, from the diet that you talk about so much, the mentality, spirituality, our physical, how we maintain our bodies and the maintenance of our bodies. It's all connected. And then we need to go out and address and attack that which is causing the cancer for us. What we've done is we get too satisfied for Band-Aids.
So that, okay.
We've got
pin in that, because we got a minute and a half. I wanna come back on the whole Band-Aid thing because,
and I hope I'm making sense, man. I hope
No, you make, and they'll tell us in the comments. So far, we're making sense, but the reason. Here's the question I had for you before we go to break.
Yes, sir.
When you hear the sound bites and we talk about violence in the community, one of the main things that people talk about is jobs, and economic opportunity. And I'm not saying that that's not a part of it, but I don't think that's it.
I don't think it's it either.
I don't, and that goes. That may be a part of it, and that goes to the whole insanity piece, right?
Yes.
But I wanna talk about the Band-Aids when we get back. Okay. So listen, everybody, you're on the green side of things. We're having a great conversation with Mr. Marquin McDonald. He is integral, important, and definitely one of the cornerstones of what's happening on the streets in Chicago. We want you all to like, we need you to comment, and we need you to share this conversation around the lunch table. We're going to take a quick break. It's the green side of things with Sadeek. We're missing Cassiopeia, but we'll see you on the other side.
WIIFTBP.
What's up, everybody? It's the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share. We need you to do it right now and join us at our new day and time, Wednesdays
from 1 to 3 p.m.
on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Today, the Biden administration is releasing what it calls a new strategy to fight domestic terrorism. Following a 100-day review, federal officials are now laying out a new plan hoping to deter, detect, and prosecute domestic terror.
They went to the Capitol waving their flags and looking for smoke. He was out there looking for justice. They was over there looking for votes. Ashley Babbitt was with him and told all the people that nothing could stop us. She climbed through the Capitol window, breached security, and called a shot, bro. The media say she a veteran. They paint the picture to make her look greater, but she disrespected the same country that she served. That makes her a traitor. They was fighting police, resisting arrest. On God, I couldn't believe it. I guess blue lives only tend to really matter when it's convenient. Hey, these are the times we witness in history, all because they didn't get a victory. United States is so contradictory. We get equal rights, that's a mystery. Politicians, they more like magicians. You know they got tricks up their sleeve. We point out the flaws that's up in this country. You know they gon' tell us to leave. Somebody try to help me understand it. Always seems like a double standard. They be out here leaving us empty-handed to certain rights we are not granted. The media is the culprit when it comes to the comparison. Cause when it comes to race, they always changing up the narrative. It's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. We still out here trying to get our reparations, but the government pump faking out here hesitating. I'm out here trying to keep my peace, so I keep meditating. The media make us look bad, they taint our our reputation looking so sad. It's so sad that COVID causing toe tags. You claim you so patriotic, but you ain't wearing no mask. You out here wildin' with your MAGA flags and showing your ass. You wanna be part of some type of revolution so bad. Look, you talk revolution and constitutional rights, homie. I guess we forgot about back in the days when all of the business was whites only. Yeah. George Floyd got justice. Juneteenth got much respect. They made it a national holiday. Man, it's all good, but cut the check. They giving out all of these vaccines, putting it in you like caffeine. Was it all in a part of the plan? I bet money like DraftKings. It's land of the free, home of the brave. 1776, we wasn't free till 1865, so we wasn't part of that shit. And that
Welcome back to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek sitting here with Mark Quinn McDonald. We are missing Cassiopeia, but we got two beautiful people back on the ones and the twos. The producer, the production staff is in the house, and it's the green side of things on this lovely Wednesday afternoon in Chicago, but we're worldwide. We got people in the comment sections from New York. We saw some shout outs. We've got some people in Florida, people definitely in Chicago, Atlanta that are listening and watching, and we see you out there on YouTube Live, not just Facebook. So we want to acknowledge everybody that's with us. If you have an opportunity, do this for us. Please like, comment, and share this conversation. We are having, we're talking about community. Yes. We're talking about self-help. We're talking about love, not just about violence, right?
Yes, sir.
And then really taking a deep dive into what's really going on beyond the surface level and beyond the Band-Aids. And that's kind of where we left off. I wanted to stick a pin in that before the break. You asked, were you making sense? And based on the comments, you're making absolute and total sense. Great sense and complete sense. So let's dive into the Band-Aids. The Band-Aids.
The Band-Aids are things.
Basketballs, community centers.
Hey, we're going to put up a new basketball rim, right, for the kids. We're going to open up another community center for the kids. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give you this, token of our appreciation. Just things that just don't really bring about any change. Okay, you brought up a community center, but what did you do for the community? Okay, you gave them a place to play and let off some energy. That's fine. But that's not addressing all these shorties that are out here. That's not addressing the adult needs. That are not addressing our elders' needs. You'll do some, you'll throw,
So you know what I liken it to? I liken it to because I study health. Yeah. And it's what I do on a daily basis with people and deal with how to mitigate disease. Yeah. But the terminology in the field of Western medicine is reductionary, meaning that they go in and if you have a problem with your kidney, they focus on the kidney. None of the other organs, the brain, the heart, right, focus on the kidney. And they work to develop a solution or a medication that specifically addresses the kidney. But that medication
may destroy
everything else and be of no benefit to any of the holistic parts that make up the body.
Absolutely.
And so when we talk about these Band-Aid solutions like basketballs and community centers, the community is so fragmented, right? There's so many things happening in other spaces, the elders, homelessness, food deserts, the list goes on and on and on, that plopping a community center and giving a kid a basketball really, does it really get at the heart of what it is we need in order to really...
It's actually insulting. It can be insulting in some ways, too, because it's like, oh, this is what we good for, just to play sports. I remember, I think I went to Northside College Prep.
Okay.
And I saw Northside College Prep, and the school is absolutely immaculate. They got cellos and instruments in the hallways and beautiful artwork, all this. But when I was working at Harper,
no artwork.
when I was working at Hirsch,
no cellos. When
I'm teaching that finger, YCCS, CYDI or Chatham Academy, I'm like, okay, where's the same effort? Where they got new technology at this school up north? They got new technology, new books, new tech, new everything. Hallways, beautiful colors. You know, colors.
So
stimulate
whose
the brain.
responsibility is that? And I think that goes back to what we're
Community.
talking about.
We should be raising all kind of hell.
But then you said we don't have a community.
But we don't have a community.
And so is the fact that we don't have a community the reason the school looks like that?
I believe so, yes. Okay. Because here's my thing. They don't care. It's nothing but $1. Them. Listen. Phillips just got shot up.
Okay.
Or excuse me. Let me be a little bit more clear, specific.
Right.
A resource officer, from what I understand, and a young lady or student in Phillips High School was shot a few weeks ago, multiple times, by a gentleman that was standing outside. And when they opened the door, he opens fire and shoots both of them.
Okay.
For the next day and a half, maybe 2 days, you had the aldermen, the police department, you had the church groups, you had different quote unquote community organizations standing outside the school for all of 2 days. Where are they now? And I spoke to CPS. As a matter of fact, it was recommended. Call him. He can give you some ideas on the safety of the children.
And what came out of that conversation?
Nothing. So who really has our best interest at hand? And why are they sitting in the seats that they're sitting in or in the positions that they're in? Nothing. It was real simple. Aside from the quality of education that our kids should be getting, when we talked about just what can we do to secure our children when they're getting home, I came up with a myriad of ideas. One of which was you still have safe passage, right? Oh, yeah. Well, I look at the safe passage workers, and I'm not dissing them. I'm happy they all got a job. But some of them, one, I don't see now one radio in their hand. They have no lines of communication. I don't know what the school security is doing. I know when I worked at one particular school and I served as a consultant along with the dean, what we did was we had the security guards come outside or certain staff members, and they did a sweep of the block. And they would come outside 15 minutes to 30 minutes early to see anything that may be unfamiliar, especially if there was an incident that may have happened inside the school. Does anything look familiar? Any cars out here? Any people filled up and filling in these cars? And that way they can report it back to the head of security inside the school to report it so they can address that accordingly. Having a direct connect with CPD, with those beat officers in that beat. So if you see something that looks familiar, you can go ahead and call that officer and say, hey, can you come do a drive-by real quick and check this out? And then have your safe passage workers positioned where they're supposed to be positioned and maybe double up on them. So, for the blocks that they do. However, what we'll do also is comb through the neighborhoods with mobile. Well, since we're mobile,
okay,
we'll comb through the neighborhoods through those blocks that the children are walking down. And then we can do advances, say, up to 43rd Street. And if something's happening on 43rd and Cottage, we can radio to Safe Passage as well as the security of the school and have that direct connect with the beat officers so we can go ahead and redirect the kids so they don't have to worry about walking into the danger, so they don't have to worry about following. And then at the meantime that we're doing that and you all are redirecting these kids, we'll go ahead and try to do our best to de-escalate the situation so it doesn't break out to become any more violent than what it may be or appear to be. Hopefully it isn't blown up out of proportion so far. And what we'll do is we'll set up positions so we can make sure our children get home safe through mobile, through communication, through radio, through whatever, the whole nine. Also come in.
So Mark Quinn,
hold on, wait.
Because I got some questions now.
Also come in and work with the staff, teachers, staff, and students with trauma training.
Okay.
How to manage their emotions. First aid. There's a study in California. There's a school that they did stop the bleed or gunshot wound training to stop the bleed training. And what they found is they took a school that was very violent. Like I'm gonna send you the resource,
right?
The study,
right?
And they saw that the violence dropped by 50% because they were learning about not only how to save life and preserve life, but how to protect life. And they started appreciating life a little bit better, a little bit differently. They saw things a little differently. So I suggested all this, even to the training of martial arts, which deal with visualization, breathing techniques, and meditation. as well as the therapeutic benefits of them alleviating stress and exercise, it was all a no.
All a no.
Because
you answered my question.
Was what? So so what we decided to do was we don't need your permission. This our city and our block and our people. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and patrol this neighborhood anyway.
So you're doing it anyway.
So we patrol anyway. We just don't have the communications with the school like we want to. So
and access to the teachers and the training
and stuff like that. Right.
Okay.
So, but no, we're working on that also. We are working on that as well because I teach. So, and shout out to YCCS and all those CPS schools that have the martial arts programs and different programs inside the schools to help the kids deal with that. To those principals.
And who said
Not
no?
CPS,
If you can tell
principals.
me, if was it was it the school that said no?
It was not the school.
It
Let me
was
tell you something.
CPS that said no?
CPS that said no. Let me tell you something. The principals,
right?
The principals of some of these schools be like, "What can you?" I've had principals tell me, "What can you bring? My kids need something, please." I had CPS tell me no.
Did they give you a reason they said no?
Not one.
Not one reason. They just
oh no. That was it. Literally no. What else you got?
Because I find that it's almost like fighting, and we've been doing this for years as a community, fighting the very systems that are in place to survive. Right? Because for a lot of these kids, and what you're talking about, moving back and forth from school is a survival issue.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? It's not a lottie-dottie walk, pick up some now-laters, laugh with your friends.
Absolutely.
Like, it's literally crossing different neighborhoods, boundaries.
Absolutely.
Dealing with kids who aren't choosing not to be in school, who are literally doing their own patrols.
Absolutely.
Because they know you might be on the way in and out of this area, like you were talking about.
Absolutely.
Hiding and moving. And then there are situations that can happen on the perimeter which escalate and cause unsafe, life-threatening situations for the entire school population.
Yes. And all we wanted to do was to help create a network of safety. Now, does this mean that there's 100% that this is going to stop all violence by 100%? No. But what this does, it will reduce the chances of violence occurring and help us to get ahead of these potentially violent acts that may happen. It will reduce these chances of any type of incident occurring. That's all we're trying to find ways of reducing, and while at the same time finding the cure. Let me say this.
Okay.
Let me say this. When you have the government and these quote unquote political figures talking about saving the city and saving our babies and saving the youth or whatever, it's laughable and it's sometimes disgusting because some of them are part of the problem themselves. Because the truth be told, this has been the yell and the cry for generations upon generations upon generations.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the city is the way it is. Right now, Chicago, let's just stick with Chicago. Chicago is the way it is because of the neglect that you, in your privileged position and your powerful position, chose to let it be in. You've neglected black and brown people for years. You've decided not to give them the resources and the help they needed for years. You've decided to hold monies back and to give it and direct it into other communities for years. You've decided to play the political game and the power moves for your own selfish, privileged position for years. And then in 2021, you want to sit there and say, man, the city look like it's going to be Detroit if we don't fix it.
So let me ask you this. Because I agree with you and I feel your energy, but I have a very nuanced question.
Go ahead.
Is what you just said publicly, and I'm going somewhere with this.
Go ahead.
If a city official were to hear that, or a government official were to hear that, does that help them allocate more resources, or does that make them go, I ain't helping him?
I don't care about it. So listen.
But there's a reason I'm asking that, right?
So listen what you just said.
Okay.
Listen what you said.
Right.
I ain't helping him.
Exactly.
I'm not asking you to help me. Let me tell you about the group. We've been out on the street for a year and a half.
Okay.
First of all, we were patrolling. Me and some of the other members were patrolling way before then. whether I was working with Tamar Manasseh in Inglewood, whether I was working with the band program or getting paid a little of nothing, and I was committed to that program year after year after year, working with those kids in mentorship, whether I was teaching free martial arts on Thursdays at the UNIA, to doing the patrols we do now, and we funded ourselves this whole time. We've had some donations from some people, but the purpose was, the reason why we didn't go after any money was because, one, it showed me the true intentions of the people that was out patrolling with us.
Okay.
If we can sit here with our broke behinds and go out here and do some change, ain't no reason why nobody else can't do it. Now, I'm not saying that money isn't important. I'm not saying that resources isn't valuable. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it was about what was valuable, what was the intention.
It was a choice.
It was a choice.
Right.
We choose to go out every night between the hours of 8:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. We from Sunday through Saturday. We choose to go out every Saturday between the hours of 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the gas stations. We do that every week. This week could be week 45. We've missed only 2 weeks.
Week 45.
2 Saturdays. And
wow.
The reason why we did that is because we had free women's self-protection workshops that we were hosting, and we were teaching sisters about how to about prevention as far as being attacked and how to defend themselves. And that was free. And so we wanted to see what we could do there. It's really about your intentions. And these political figures, they don't have to worry about helping me. You better figure out how to help yourself. Because when people start doggone waking up, it's going to be one of two things. You're either going to be removed out of power, or you're going to get a foot up your ass. It's that simple. Because some of them deserve it. Some of them seriously deserve it. And they know they do. They know who they are. They know which ones is out here that's purposely preventing us from being successful. And they figure they can just pimp us for our votes. And then that goes back to us. What we do is we give it to them.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm not trying to make it any more complicated. Do they know, or are they sick? Are they mentally ill?
I think they know.
You think they know?
I think they know.
And even is that knowing, like we know, okay, so what I'm seeing is two opposite ends of the spectrum. But it's really the same thing.
Yes.
They're in political power.
Uh-huh.
They're aware of what they're doing, and they know it's tearing the community apart. The young man or the young lady with the gun, right, that's acting whatever, knows what they're doing. They're aware of what they're doing, and they're tearing the community apart, right? So to me, it's the same thing, except their weapon is their power and their neglect.
Stop. I know where you're going. Let me point this out.
Okay.
What do you think The Wire was made for? One of the best TV shows ever made on HBO was called The Wire.
Right.
It showed that exact thing, that it was no difference from the corner boys to the mayor's office.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
There's no difference from the corner boys to the mayor's office. It was no difference.
So if they're sick, and the people caught in the middle are obviously ill.
Yes.
Right? It goes back to this whole trauma piece you talk about.
Uh-huh.
And when we talk about solutions, right, or we talk about getting to what you call the cure, or I call getting to the root cause.
That's what I would call it. I wouldn't call it a cure. I would say we need to get to the root causes.
Get to the root causes, right? Get to the root.
We need to call it out for what it is. We need to get to the root causes and call it out for what it is.
But do we need? And need is a strange word, right? But if you don't have food, the government creates assistance.
Yes.
Right, where you can go get food.
Absolutely.
Do we need the healing trauma version of food stamps?
Ooh. I think we got that already, don't we?
No, and here's what I mean, because you can sign up and be on state aid, and I'm not sure how all these programs work, but obviously if you need food, that program is there.
Yeah.
If you need housing assistance, right, that program is that affects.
I don't think we need anything from them that. So
then how do we supply? And I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in my mind that there are these catch basins, right, for lack of housing or lack of food, but where is the lack of, where is the dealing with insanity and mental trauma? And there are people out there that are doing it.
No, I agree.
You address it, but I'm saying we're talking about something that's pervasive.
Yes. So, for example, right, you asked me a question beforehand. First, let me point this out. There was no reason why and maybe I need to ask Maze this, because Maze is definitely in tune, especially politically. I don't understand why Rahm Emanuel closed down all the mental health institutions within our communities that he did. I don't see the reasons why. Maybe there was a lot.
Were they being effective?
I don't know.
And the only reason I ask that is there something different that we need? But if we look at the results,
I don't know. So I'm just speaking that I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have the statistics nor the stats or the data that supports that or refutes that. I don't know. So I'm gonna say I don't know. I just want to know why.
Okay.
But I will say this: you do have those out here now. So let me go around this, because I've spent too much time saying what the problem is, and not what is being done. So you have good brothers out here, good brothers
and sisters,
right? You know. Shout out to my boy AJ, who's a clinician. He's also a Watch Guard member. My sister, Dr. D, she's watching and whatnot. And
she's in mental health.
She's in mental health. Yes,
yeah.
You know Dr.
Yeah,
D.
no doubt. She's a vegan.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
No doubt.
Dr. D was in the workshops, last couple workshops, getting it in. You have those out here that are doing their best to address it, and to give those resources that have literally are in the process of healing themselves.
Right.
Honestly, and acknowledging that. And then what they're doing is they're giving that which they're passionate about as far as mental health and healing. And they're bringing it to this past summer, we took 50 young men. You and I talked about this. We took 50 young men that we mentored. We talked to the CHA. Shout out to Kahari B. He talked to them. We had 50 young men. And we said, we want to educate them. We want to talk to them. We want to build with them. We want to build with them. So what we offered was what we called the trifecta. It was economics. They learned about economics. They learned about culture.
Okay.
And they learned about, they did martial arts, as I said, as far as a form of exercise, as well as the meditative purposes and things of that nature. And through that process, they also had what we considered that circle around that diamond or that triangle, which was the therapy. They were able to, we had AJ come in and to build with these young men. And then at the end of the 6-week program, we was going to take them on a rites of passage, take them out of Chicago, put them in nature. Take those shoes off, feel the dirt, feel that grass, man. I'm talking about, these are boys that are like, these are some rough kids. These are rough guys.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, we didn't get the support we needed on that. We didn't, but we made it work. We was like, you know what? I'm not even going to say, because
I got some support for you. I got some support for you on that.
No, we go to, hold on.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. I'm not going to say certain names because I was asked not to.
Yeah, don't say the names.
But I'm going to say this. This particular organization felt it fit. We didn't ask for any money. They offered. And the amount of money that they gave us was insulting. So we told them, yo, listen, you can keep the money. Just give us the babies. We'll be fine. You can keep the money. Just give us the babies.
Money, give us the babies.
Just give us the babies. See, we got to get out of, so we're consumers. Everything about us is consumption.
Right.
Everything. From the shirt, I got to buy this new shirt. I got to buy these new pants. I got to get this house. I got to get these cars. Everything about us is consumption. We all agreed that the value needs to be within service, not the consumption. It needs to be within the service. And so what we did was we was like, keep your money, just give us the babies. Now, eventually what they did, they gave us some, the money anyway. It was like, fine. But We just wanted the babies. The only thing we wasn't able to do was take them on the rites of passage trip because they canceled it, because we had to have this partnership with this particular group, this particular organization, and they was like, nah, well, yeah, we were going to let you do it. The day before, I'm talking about we getting the bus, we got the whole thing set up. We got a whole day set up. They was going to go through all type of exercises.
What happened?
And they was just like, nah, and what they did was they said they blamed it on COVID. And so I was kind of, we were kind of like, okay, but we personally was like, look, we are going to have them spaced out. They'll be wearing masks. Everything will be clean. Okay, we're going to document this.
You had COVID protocols.
Yes,
right.
If you want one or two of your people can come, no problem. We just want to get them out of the city, and we want to do this ritual with them as far as rites of passage. No.
Wow.
So I know that you approached me. Shout out to Sadeek, if Sadeek is listening. You approached me and was like, well, we're going to take those 50 young men next summer, because we get them again next summer. We're trying to do a winter camp. I got to contact my guys and see where are we at this point, and I'll let you know and everybody else know if they want to support that endeavor. But I know next summer we were talking, and you was like, well, we're going to take them to Ghana.
Let's take them to Ghana. Put them in the soil.
Put them in the soil. Take them to the land.
Take them to the land.
And we're going to take them to Ghana.
Culture, healing,
and a fun fact for those who may want to know. I gotta put this out there. The BAM program that Barack Obama was not Barack, it was Barack, but Rahm Emanuel was so proud of.
Mm-hmm.
The BAM
one
program,
of his signature programs
was created by two black men. So a lot of people don't know that. Got to shout out John Ziegler and Mr. William Wright.
That's what's up.
And before it became BAM, it was designed and it was geared for young black boys. And it was a mentorship program where they would counsel these young black boys, and then they would do a rites of passage by taking them to Africa. And so when you brought that up, I was like, oh, man, I got to hit up John also, because I was just like, hey, it's a reason why this comes back around. And what they did was that program got snatched from them. I don't know the full particulars, but I do know for a fact that these two black men, these two elders, created this program for our babies and for our boys. That shows so much success.
Well, let's do this, and we got to take a break,
yes,
but
sir.
we definitely want to do that and talk about. Now I'm gonna leave that there, but yeah, Ghana, the young men, and also want to talk to Tyrone Muhammad about it, because they mentor, I think, well over 100 or more. Right, his organization continues to grow, and they're in the streets. But the soil, the food, all of that is important. The cultural connection and the healing is crucial. So, just wanted to throw that out there. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little more. You're going to stay with us for about 15 more minutes.
Yes, indeed.
That's great. Listen, you're on the green side of things with Sadeek. Cassiopeia is not with us today. We're sending our love and shout out to her and her entire family. We're in with Brother Marquin McDonald, who is one of the men, one of the kings, one of the future ancestors that is on the streets with us today. He is a barber. He is you know what, man? You're a fighting priest.
Barber, but although
he's a fighting priest on the streets. yeah, we're clear about that. So listen, we need you to like, comment, and share this broadcast. Bring some more people around the lunch table. We're going to go for our last half hour, talk some more with Marquin. We love you, and we'll see you after this break.
WIIFTBP.
Oh, man. They done messed around and gave New Era Chicago their own radio show. What they do that for?
You done messed up! So what we doing, bro?
Man, we talk about power.
Did you say power?
Not rights and equality, but power. We ain't begging, we building.
In that order, Chicago, and we got dope segments. Hey, yo, sis, holla at them.
Peace and love, family. It's Sister E of New Era Chicago in the building, dropping the statistics, holistics, and of course the ballistics. Good for the mind, body, and the soul. Let's get it, family.
And this your boy D Cook coming with straight facts. If you don't know, now you know.
And this is your other sister, Omo Oya Music, coming in peace, love, and light, getting real with my people so we can quit with the bull spit.
And this brother E, and I'm gonna wrap it up with the power surge.
Listen, it's going down every Wednesday night, 5 after 6 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the Black Power Hour, New Era Chicago Radio on What's in It for the Black People Media.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
The skin I'm in fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. You live every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I can smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the cops pull you over, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so it's just another obstacle. Why jump hurdles to make a change? It ain't optional. Olympian mindset in this booth with my binoculars. I see my vision getting clear. Justice what a prophet do. My music touch the people's soul. Black power gospel tunes. So many styles, watch me kick them like they soccer moves. Falling rank and file, this is my platoon. Soldiers at attention, ain't no Willie lynching. This the program. Who they think they kidding? Reinvent the system. Total reconstruction of our mental stigma. This ain't a game, boy. Still they think I'm talking about Nintendo's. That's a shame, boy. Augment reality. Better fix your brain, boy. I love my people, hope they love me black. I'm going hard and ain't no holding back. Watch me react. I put my fist up in the skies like a beacon for believers that one day we return to our greatest if we seek it. All the glory we can obtain and keep reaching. I'm painting this picture, I hope you see it. Guess what the theme is? I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud, man. I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. Well, how about you to sing these tunes too? Customize for you a little something you can grow to. Feeling good about yourself. Melanated mood muse. Always service humble pie. We don't care about who's who. Light brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth. Living proof truth. Say it loud if you black and proud. I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey, hey, hey. Super melanation renovation of our databases. Gotta fix the trinity to make it past the matrix. There's a rabbit in the hole. Your decision, you gon' chase it or just shove it for complacency. Here's your motivation. Black power in your veins. Up to us to build a nation. European mental detox completely we erase it. You can't keep fighting over old information. Probably bring it right back if you love being black. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. We know what it is.
Welcome back to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek, and I'm here without Cassiopeia, but I have this dope brother next to me, Mr. Marquin McDonald, and we're talking about what's going on in the shy streets. Green side of things. We need you to like, comment, and share. I'm not going to say that thing, but we need you to do it and bring some more people around this lunch table because we are having a great conversation, and more than a conversation, right? We're bringing some light and some consciousness to this issue. Shout out to those of you that are out there on Facebook Live. We see you on YouTube Live. We appreciate you for sharing part of your afternoon with us. And so want to go back into this conversation. We just have a few minutes left, but Marquin, you wanted to start here, and then I want to talk about the women that you deal with and what's happening on the streets.
Yes, sir.
But the police, right? This whole idea of the police are here to help.
Okay.
And let me just say this, because I have personal relationships with police officers.
I do too.
And there are police officers who really get up and suit up every day to work at making a difference.
Yes.
But even the ones that I know complain about the system that they are in.
Yes.
Right? Behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And let me put it this way. They're frustrated. Right? I know of some police officers that feel like they're at odds with the non-melanated officers in their district. But they got to come out and be out on the street. So anyway, how do you see the police help based on what we were talking about inside of trauma.
So the police department, based off of my observations. So first of all, I have family that are police officers. I have friends. I even applied to become a police officer. I made it up to, I took the pre-power test. I was about to take the power test and then had a conversation with my wife and changed my mind about the whole thing. My wife felt that I would better serve my community not being a part of the department. We talked about that. And she was like, I think, she was trying to help me because I was feeling kind of conflicted. And, they did this Vice did an episode on me about being a black man in Chicago joining the police department. And it was kind of conflicting. And I realized she was absolutely right. I could do more.
Okay.
The department, in my personal opinion, is full of trauma itself. Aside from the history of the department as far as what it was built on, we know what it was built on, the systemic racism and those issues that permeate with inside the department. The trauma that's happening along with the department, you're putting that out there to deal with the trauma that's permeating our communities or our neighborhoods, our people. So it's a ticking time bomb. And then you put that trauma along with all the other issues that permeate that department. The department is hitting our people. And so it's problematic. It has to be addressed. Nobody wants to talk about that. No one wants to really just have a conversation about the suicide rates or why officers would just...
Do people even know that that's an issue, though?
That's the issue.
Right.
The domestic violence. I think it was in the news recently that 2 off-duty officers, one shot another. And in the article, I saw the headline. I didn't get a chance to really study it just yet, but it said in a domestic situation, I think a female officer shot a male officer. Alcoholism. What are you trying to escape from? The stress. I've talked to sergeants in front of officers who are the officers was like, yeah, I'm stressed. I remember when Eddie Johnson was in, and right before they released the new use of force guidelines, I was there for that because I gave my opinion as a martial artist, as someone who, studies or use of force, as someone who's also done security and executive protection. I gave my opinions on, what I felt was, cool and what wasn't. And I remember coming up with telling them like, hey, how about mandatory stress relieving sessions? Because what you're doing is you putting this police officer in my neighborhood, and this officer is suffering from X, Y, and Z, and that's I get pulled over by this person, and all because I breathe hard. He ready to go ahead and pull me out the car and slap me around and do whatever. I ain't got time for that. It is a reason why our hearts start racing, and we sitting there looking like, oh, here we go. It's a reason for that. And so we've had those conversations, and unfortunately, I don't see nothing changing for them either. You doing 12 hours. Listen, my alarm went off in my
I used to ask that all the time. Why are they so exhausted and then expected to handle high level traumatic situations,
no sense.
Sleep deprived?
You making them work 12-hour shifts.
That's like nurses and doctors, but that's a whole nother situation.
And you expect them to be
you're
able
gonna
to
deal with my cancer after you've been on shift for 20
12 hours.
Right.
You're gonna do surgery.
Right. And you've been standing on your feet.
You've been standing on your feet for 12 hours.
It makes no sense to me.
Listening to a radio. So listen, we have radios when we go out on patrol.
Okay.
The first week of me having that radio, I was listening to it every day. And from Monday, by the time I got to Friday, I was ready to fight somebody.
How many hours were you listening to the radio?
For me, every night for about a good 4 to 5.
So you only had, and I said only based on an actual officer is listening for more than 4 or 5 hours.
Between 8 to 12.
Between 8 to 12 hours.
Right.
You were listening 4 to 5 hours. How many days a week?
5 days a week.
5 days a week. And it
provoked for the first 5 days, and I was ready to.
It provoked violence and anger inside of you.
Man, listen.
Just from listening to the radio.
Listening from that. Just listening to that. So And that's not to go on into the other myriad of things. So if we're really going to talk about healing, if we're really going to talk about healing,
and that's what we need to talk about. So let's talk about
it. We have to talk about all of it. We can't, I don't want nobody thinking like, he's defending this or he's that. We have to talk about it all, especially for black officers. I have an issue with the fact that you take a kid, I never understood this, from Mount Greenwood, 21, 22 years of age. We all know what Mount Greenwood is as far as how they feel towards black people. You take a 21, 22-year-old from Mount Greenwood, train him in the academy, and then put him in the heart of Inglewood.
Give him a gun.
Give him force multipliers, and then you put him in Inglewood. That don't make sense. Matter of fact, where he was better off at is Ravenswood somewhere.
Or Mount Greenwood. Put him in the neighborhood. Put him in the neighborhood he grew up in.
That fits his jacket, fits his profile.
Right.
So that to me is never made. The whole setup of what they do is needs to be really looked at.
So that I actually
it's
made
problematic.
I actually made the suggestion on this show that only black officers should patrol black neighborhoods.
I agree.
Because, and I'm not saying that makes all black cops good cops. What I'm saying is the violence between or the static between police and the community would drop immediately.
I think they need to do a couple of things. One, I think you ought to allow those that patrol the community need to look like the community. That's one. Number two, but I know someone would be like, "Oh, that's diverse and that's about separation."
No. That's part of the problem.
That's a part of the problem.
That's part of the problem.
So
diversity, nothing.
Stop.
Right.
Stop.
Right.
They need to look like they're part of the community. Two. I forgot where.
Well, while you doing that, I just asked the question: how many national, worldwide shootings, police shootings, are black on black? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
to the diversity issue. Oh, my bad.
Listen,
yeah.
The other piece is I think they need to change the requirements to get on the job. I applied for it. I think they need to change some of these requirements.
Like
this, as far as the college, you need to have a bachelor's degree or 60 credit hours, equivalent of such. That doesn't show intelligence. That doesn't show what that's about to show. What does that show? It doesn't show anything. I know some guys that do executive protection that don't have that just has a GED,
I'm finna get in trouble here.
Way colder. That don't mean nothing.
I'm finna get in trouble here
because.
But does policing have to do with intelligence?
Ooh, it does.
No. Are you saying it should or it does? Okay, I'm not gonna put you on the spot.
No.
I'm asking the question because I know I got about.
It should. And
it should.
It
right.
Does. Here's why.
Okay.
So take my job for example. Right?
Okay.
So or I retired. So let me say that.
Okay.
I used to do executive protection or people say bodyguard work, whatever. The ability to be able to de-escalate a potential situation, to recognize threats, to see pre-threat indicators, things of that nature, all those things are
okay, but time out. But are we using all of that?
They're not.
Okay, that's why I'm getting at. So I'm not doubting. I mean,
so yeah, it should.
I mean, I watched The Bodyguard.
I know. Some are though. No, some are.
Some are. Okay, so there's never
a.
I'm not.
There's some officers out
I'm
here
not
that
disparaging.
There are some that are like, that are on point and they know how to really.
But in the middle of that,
police.
There's a gap and something's not happening.
Yes.
So, and what happens is a lot of times we don't address the gap and what's not happening because we're afraid of offending the few people who are actually doing what they're supposed to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're not, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, right, then this rock is not for you.
Yes.
Because my grandmother used to say, if you throw a rock into a pack of dogs or a pack of wolves, the only one that screams or howls is the one that got hit.
That's right.
So
yes. So going back, I think that they need to change the requirements because it don't. I know people that don't have that and they are far more on point than
And
some
then-
of these people out here.
and then maybe
because we
the-
got plenty of people that got degrees and paperwork in office, and they idiots.
And then maybe also the training itself needs to involve more mind,
training
body,
in itself
spirit.
definitely
there's-
needs that.
because you cannot be.
I've suggested that. I've suggested that also, by the way. And I've had those meetings, by the way.
Okay.
And guess what?
Oh, of course, it
Yeah,
got turned down.
exactly.
Yeah. Because it's almost like depending on where you are policing or where you are patrolling, it's almost akin to going to war every day.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to come home, and that's why you have the Jack Daniels as soon as you get home. That's why you yelling at your wife or you don't want to talk to the kids, right? Because you are introduced to trauma every single day. You know, part of my recommendation is that every 4 days an officer is on duty, their 5th day needs to be trauma. Self-care.
Yes.
They need a therapist.
Yes.
They need yoga.
Yes.
They need meditation.
Yes.
They need whatever services can be offered through the plant. They need to be nurtured.
And let me say this before, because I know, listen, I'm telling you, I've had these conversations already. And I know what some people think. Oh, my God, but we don't need the police and this, that, and the third. First off, let me explain this to you. You ain't never going to get rid of them because none of y'all are equipped or have the fortitude to go out here and address the issues in which that you call them for.
Address the element.
You will not address the element.
Right.
You won't. As a matter of fact, the first thing you gonna do is you yourself is gonna dial 911 because you don't even want to address the element yourself, so you'll never get rid of them.
Right.
So,
F the police, but let's call them.
Exactly.
Got
So my point is that I truly believe in from what every system that we have can be fixed if it's intentional. But that's the question, isn't it? Who's authentically and intentionally really trying to fix the problem?
Well, you know what? I was going to say, I don't know if the people whom the system was designed for, if it needs fixing. Because if it ain't
it's
broke,
working, it's right. I believe right, or it needs to be overhauled.
so
and it needs to be torn
we're
down
having
and
a
redone. You're absolutely
conversation.
right.
We're having a conversation from the side of it ain't working.
I agree, absolutely.
But for the people who created the system and maintained the system,
It's working exactly the way it
It's
is.
working exactly the way it should.
So
and
you're
so that's
absolutely
part
right.
of my. So I don't see it as fixable.
So we need to destroy that whole thing, tear that bad boy down, and rebuild a new.
Well, I don't even think we need to tear it down.
What you think we need to do?
Build our own. And that's a whole nother conversation.
So
let them have their system. It's almost like let them eat cake.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, but that's a
as
whole
matter of
nother
fact,
show, brother.
We've talked about
that
this.
is a whole nother
I'm
show.
with it 100%.
We
But
can
once
do
again-
that. That's a
but
whole
once
nother show.
again- Once again, that takes a level of being uncomfortable.
Well, I think we have to do it. I think we're at the start over point.
We definitely do.
I think we're at like literally society wise, because this society is really at cancer stage 5. Like there's no coming back from
But
this.
we need to be here, though. Hear me out. We also got into the mindset of having to say F those that ain't with that mindset and move.
I don't think we got to say F them.
Find
I
that-
think we just got to move.
That's my point.
I think we just got to move.
That's
Right.
my point.
Right.
What I'm saying is that, for example, right, there are those in my family that are not going to agree with my wife
absolutely.
and I and
Right.
me moving my family to wherever I move them to.
Right.
Oh, my God, you did it. Bye.
Is there a target
F
there?
those. And I love, no disrespect, but F that. Bye.
Yeah.
And we have to have that ability. But while I'm here and I see my people getting beat upside the head, I will do my best. It can't be both and. I
think it can be both and.
It can't
Right.
be both
It
and.
can be
I am
both
packing
and.
my bags.
Right.
We are moving. But while I'm here, I'm going to help you all to do whatever I can in order to, you know what I'm saying, bring about some peace to your pain. But we getting ready to get the hell up out of here.
Hey, I'm with that. You familiar with the story of Moses? And I'm not being facetious. I'm just asking. Let my people
Yes.
go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think we're at the flip of that. I think then it was Moses saying to Pharaoh, let my people go. I think now we are existing in the time of our people need to let Pharaoh go.
So
what's up? You got a message?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's what's funny. is I was going to ask you this before I get up out of here.
Okay.
How come you never went to politics? That's something I wanted to ask you. Because you just, I just wanted to know.
I thought about it when I was younger.
Yep.
I don't think I'm equipped for the political minutia.
Got you.
There is, on the surface, it looks productive. But I think I would get too frustrated in the lack of change, right? Because I think I don't exist in enough gray area to be a politician.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't see the need to compromise with somebody that's obviously racist.
I agree. I feel
so to spend my days trying to have a conversation and bring resources back to my community or whatever, all of that, whatever it is, whatever spin you want to give it. But I know I'm sitting across from a guy, again, who the system is working for.
Yes.
Right? Because when you check out most politicians, they're all millionaires or have a certain level of wealth.
Yes.
If you look at the United States Congress, if you look at blah, 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 they have no relationship to the system is not working, which is why I say there is no genuine interest in changing it because it's working just as it should.
Yes.
So therefore,
pain is profitable.
Man, everything. But that's what the healthcare system deals with. Pain is profitable. So if you sick, I can't tell you that, or I won't tell you that the only reason you have high blood pressure is because of what's in your arteries. And then I'm not going to tell you what's causing this to be in your arteries. So you can continue to go to Popeyes. Yeah. Just let me give you this medication and you do this for the rest of your life. So the profit is in the ability not to get at what is designed to put you in the situation that you're in. Yes. So yeah, no politics for me.
So I'll say this: it's funny because that's the same. I feel you on that. And I agree completely.
No politics.
And real quick, I wanted to also say this while it was on my mind. The reason why WatchGuard developed was to patrol our own communities, to be that answer. And for those who are wondering, what do? We monitor both our communities and police activity in our communities.
Let's talk about we didn't get to the women in violence, so you got to come back.
Okay,
because we got to have time to unpack that because I know some of the.
Well, let me just say this: last month was Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Okay, yeah,
we did we serviced over 100 women and teaching them about threat assessments, how to de-escalate situations, how to defend themselves physically if need be, as well as provide them with resources so they can get the healing that they needed to deal with some of their traumas or their issues, or to give to someone else that may need that. We provided that, and we're going to do one more workshop this month. In the middle of this month, I will give the date, the TBA right now, but we're going to be it's going to be the final one. We're going to end the year off giving sisters the training that they've been looking for.
And before we go, so I don't forget, tell the people how they can get in touch with you and how they can get a martial arts class. What can they do? We want to support you, my brother, in what it is that you do, especially since you are a business owner.
Yes, sir.
And you did a post yesterday about being a business owner. And so I'm a business owner, and so are most of the people who are on this thread who listen, right? They either work and own a business or working to become entrepreneurs. So let us support you. How can we find you? What can we do? You
can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Marquin McDonald. It's spelled as you see it there at MARQUINN McDonald, like the restaurant without the S. You can also find me at QMartialArts.com, which is our website for Quantum Martial Arts and Fitness. You can also find us on Instagram at Quantum Martial Arts and Fitness. You can find us on Facebook on Quantum Martial Arts and Fitness. And you can reach us at, if you're looking for WatchGuard, you can go to www.watchguardchicago.com. And you can email us, send us a message through there. Or you can just send us a direct message at watchguardchicago@gmail.com. Or you can email me at marquinmcdonald@gmail.com. Or you can email me if you're looking for some personal inquiries. Or you can email the school at Quantum Marts, QUANTUMMARTS @gmail.com.
This brother is an awesome human being.
Thank you.
Husband, father, instructor, protector. He sees what's going on. He's one of the cast and the crew that makes Chicago, whatever the better side of Chicago is him. And so I just want to say that as we get out of here for the day, we want to thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us on the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek. Cassiopeia should be back with us next week. And on behalf of Mr. Marquin McDonald, the production staff that we're in with today, what's in it for the Black People Media? We thank you. We love you. And as we always say, peace.
Thank you.
In my mind, it's like having altitude sickness on alpine expedition. Genius vision never fixed in on the deck below. Focus on elevation where others never dare to go. And brainiacs ain't contained in that receptacle. Incredible creative energy becomes perceptible. The cerebral can be an evil alter ego, a true vow, and you shall become legendary and futile. Development of a god. I sleep between dates on the calendar. Can't escape a date with a challenger. Now that's a blind date in the field of vision, but my